The movie opens with Evan and his wife, Karen, joyfully celebrating Father's Day with their two lovely children, sharing a cake and exchanging gifts. Evan then plays a monster game with the kids. Karen plans to take them to the beach for a Father's Day party, while Evan stays home for his physical therapy appointment. During this time, Karen's assistant and family friend, Lewis, stops by for a visit. Karen, a successful artist, leaves her sculpture in the care of Lewis, who must transport it to the art gallery once the cement has dried. Lewis promises to return the next day before leaving. Before he departs, Karen reminds him that Vivian, the physical therapist, will be visiting tomorrow to check on Evan's injured hand. Evan is at home with his dog, Monkey. That night, he FaceTimes his family to say goodnight. While playing music, he senses movement outside. Soon after, two stranded women, Belle and Genesis, knock on his door during a rainstorm, asking for directions to Gregory's house, where a weekend party is being held. Evan tells them he doesn't know anyone by that name in the area. Soaking wet, Evan lets them inside to use his phone, but they ask to use his computer instead to find the address, since their phones are wet and dead. Evan goes to get them some towels to dry off and brings them his tablet to access the internet and locate the party's address. Belle praises him for allowing strangers into his home. After checking the address, Genesis realizes they had entered the wrong location, Cantor instead of Cantner, which sent the cab in the wrong direction. Evan offers to book them an Uber, which is expected to arrive in 45 minutes. Feeling cold, Genesis asks if they can dry their clothes in his dryer. Evan agrees, brings them some bathrobes, and takes her phone to try fixing it by placing it in rice. As the rain continues pouring outside, Evan makes them some tea to warm up and puts their clothes in the dryer. While they wait for the Uber, he plays a few of his old vinyl records from his days as a DJ. As the conversation deepens, we learn that Evan is 43 years old and got married when he was 30. Belle flatters him, saying he looks younger. When asked about his wife, Evan explains that she is not home. She is at the beach with their kids, where they had planned to spend Father's Day before work got in the way. Sensing his loneliness, the two women move closer to keep him company. They begin seducing him, telling stories about their past relationships with handsome men like him, while making subtle, sudden touches to tempt him. Seeing the gaudy sculpture, Evan tells them that his wife loves it because she was born in Barcelona. It is then revealed that Belle is also Spanish. The girls make themselves at home and continue flirting with Evan. Belle talks about polygamy, saying she wants to be intimate constantly with her future husband to ensure he doesn't cheat on her. As she speaks, both women glance at Evan and draw closer to him in a seductive manner. Evan smiles, feeling a stronger connection with Belle. Meanwhile, Genesis asks to use the washroom. Belle discovers that Evan has a Spanish music collection by Fran Valenzuela and asks him to play it. She begins dancing slowly with romantic moves while Evan mixes the music. Belle tells him she's glad they knocked on his door, as she's having a better time here than she would have at the party. Belle pulls him into a dance, calling it destiny that they met. When the Uber arrives, Evan gathers their things for them to leave, but they disappear into the bathroom. When he goes to check, he finds them undressed. He tells them to get dressed, as the car is waiting outside, but they begin forcing themselves on him. Although he protests, insisting that he is happily married, he eventually gives in and shares an intimate moment with them as they wish him a happy Father's Day. In the morning, exhausted, Evan wakes to find the girls eating everything in the kitchen like scavengers. He asks where they live and offers to drive them there, but they laugh and insist that this could be their home. Evan gets a call from Karen and steps outside to talk to her, while the girls mock him with strange gestures. When he returns, he tries to drag them out forcefully, giving them 3 minutes to get dressed while he waits outside. Inside, the girls head to Karen's sculpture and vandalize it. Evan becomes emotional and threatens to call the police, but the girls intimidate him by claiming they are underage, which would get him arrested. Evan offers to pay them to leave his house, but they refuse. Vivian, Karen's friend and Evan's physical therapist, arrives to check on him. Wanting to avoid suspicion, Evan tells her he's doing fine. However, upon seeing Genesis, Vivian leaves angrily. When Evan threatens to report break-in, The girls finally give in and agree to be taken home. After driving them home, Evan returns and tidies up the mess, putting everything in order before Karen comes back. That night, while playing vinyl records, he hears a shattering noise from the other side of the house and goes to investigate. As he picks up a broken family picture, Genesis knocks him out. While Genesis applies makeup in front of the mirror, Evan is tied to the bed. Belle keeps disturbing him, prompting Evan to tell her to take off his daughter's uniform. Evan initially refuses, begging Belle to untie him. When Karen calls, the girls threaten to FaceTime his wife with him unless he agrees to do what they demand. Belle continues to harass him while Genesis records everything. Genesis then heads to the kitchen. Fortunately, Evan manages to break free and knocks Belle to the floor. He charges at Genesis, but she stabs him with a fork. She and Belle then tie him to a chair with an electrical cord as punishment for hitting Belle. They force him into a game where they ask him questions, and if he answers incorrectly, they use the electrical cord to create a loud buzzing in his ears, nearly deafening him. While they're still playing the game, Lewis, Karen's assistant, arrives to collect the sculpture. Evan is kept hidden while Genesis meets Lewis at the door and lets him in. Lewis is shocked to see the sculpture vandalized. When he questions the girls, they deny any involvement, claiming someone might have broken in, and that's why Evan is gone. Furious, Lewis threatens to call the police and rushes to help Evan, but Genesis steals his inhaler from his pocket. As Lewis tries to untie Evan, the girls begin demolishing the sculpture, forcing him to run back to stop them. Seeing the damage, Lewis shouts at the top of his voice, but suddenly suffers an asthma attack and realizes they've taken his inhaler. While trying to retrieve it, he slips on a piece of the sculpture, hits his head in the fall, and dies. Evan begs them to call an ambulance, but they refuse, telling him that's what happens when you break the rules of the game. Giggling, the girls turn Lewis's corpse into a red sculpture. They then use both Evan's and Lewis's phones to send messages, making it appear as though Evan discovered Lewis was having an affair with his wife and was murdered by him. Placing Evan back in the chair, they tell him that, since he failed the game, he will be killed tomorrow at dawn. Evan becomes emotional, insisting he is a good father and reminding them that he helped them when they came to him in desperation. The girls begin digging a grave in the backyard. As Evan tries to FaceTime Karen using his tablet, he realizes they have been spying on him all along. They proceed to vandalize the entire house, turning everything upside down, mocking him, cutting his hair, and destroying all of Karen's paintings. Suddenly, they discover Evan's hidden gun. Untying him, they force him into a game of hide-and-seek. Given 30 seconds to hide, Evan attempts to escape, but is quickly chased down and brought back. At dawn, they tie Evan up with a hose and bury him in a hole, leaving only his head above ground as he screams for help. They tell him they're going to crush his skull with a large stone, but it misses by inches. Laughing hysterically, the girls reveal that the entire ordeal was just a game. They confess they never intended to kill him. Neither of them is underage, and everything they did was part of their twisted hobby, seducing, victimizing, and destroying the homes of married men with children. Genesis plays the video she had previously recorded on Evan's phone, showing Belle assaulting him in a romantic manner. Evan begs for his life, swearing he'll comply with all their demands. As he watches helplessly, she uploads the footage to his Facebook profile. Despite his attempts to stop it, the upload completes. They then leave with Monkey, moving on to their next victim, abandoning Evan to face the consequences alone. Karen and the kids return home to find the house destroyed. *** Jake, Evan's son, remarks, ** Daddy had a party. In an alternate ending, Evan gets his revenge by using Monkey's GPS collar to track the girls to another victim's house.